single executive leadership spot that, somebody who's not basically a marketing, sales, business kind of person that he has. So, obviously it was a problem for us. And because, he's the guy with the vision. And I didn't know anything about the configuration business, but I knew that I could communicate all of this stuff. So I said, think about it. I'm not pushing you to make a decision. And so after a few weeks, he comes up and said, agreed to, have me to be the president, chairman, CEO, and and then Selectica obviously, managed to raise $35 million in venture capital, and then we took it public for a $5 million valuation, 5 years later, because, when you have somebody who can really present the company, the venture capitalists just go waiting to find that the team is beginning to form, and they just jumped in, right, left, and center to participate in Selectica. And they all made, 50 times the amount of money that they invested and so on. So everybody made money. So the important thing is that when you guys start your companies, you have to be very clear. Are you in the business for your ego, or are you there to really build a great company? Right? So that is that's a fundamental decision as an entrepreneur you're going to have to take, which is, are you? And so here was Dr. Sanjay Mittal. For 5 years, nothing happened. As soon as he got a partner, and all of a sudden the money started coming in, the company started building up, we started getting all the big customers, and at least when we went public, in 5 years later, his share of the company, half the company, was worth $500 million. Right? $500 million was his net worth when we went public. So the whole goal of being an entrepreneur is to basically make the pie bigger, so that your share, whatever it is, grows with the pie. So that is the whole logic of the company. Okay, how is equity distributed among founders? I'll just give you a simple answer. Wherever possible, just try to do it in a way that doesn't cause grief and anguish. Hey, he got 18%, I got 21%. That extra 3% makes no difference. If the company becomes successful, you're going to make so much money that you won't care with the 3%. And if it fails, it's not worth much anyway, right? So the point is that, the important thing is to avoid things that will affect the productivity, the happiness, the optimism of the co-founders when you're running a company together. Anyway, so the founding team is something that is very important to think through and put together in a fashion that sets the framework for building a big successful company. Any questions about founding team? Yeah.
Suppose me and my friend founds a company. My friend is married, so his wife opts to volunteer. Now, should the percentage be 50-50 or should it be 1/3?
Well, it's an excellent question because it happens all the time, right? And the reason is that spouses do want to pitch in, right? They do want to pitch in to help the company succeed. And I think, in my opinion, if the spouse is playing an important role of equal importance, and that you're not created the job for the spouse, but she's a brilliant IT engineer, then obviously you would give her the equal share. But if she is more like admin support or just helping out till the company starts building momentum, then you pay her some compensation. Give her some stock options like an employee. So treat her like an employee rather than a co-founder. Any other questions about founding team? You want? Andrew? Let's go to the next slide. Okay, now, yes, go ahead.
What I wanted to ask you, when you said that we should give a co-founder's position to a person who is well experienced in marketing and sales and business development. So at our age, right now, we're not that experienced, and that person might be older than us, might be 10, 15, 20 years older than us. So how do we bridge that gap in our team? That's what I wanted to ask you.
It's a very good question because, a lot of marketing, sales, business development expertise comes by working in industry. Even though you might have your MBA from Harvard or IIM or wherever ISB, if it's a fresh graduate, you're not really not worth anything for those skills. It's not engineering. Engineering is different. For marketing sales, you really want people who have been out in the real world and have done a lot of marketing and sales and build up network, and they understand the competition, they understand the industry, how it works, etc. So those people will always, preferably, be like 10, 15 years senior. Than especially these days, entrepreneurs are starting companies straight out of school like IIT. So, your marketing sales guy is probably going to be 1 to 10 years experience. So, the important thing is that, there are two kinds of people in the world. People where 10 years makes them mature, and then in other cases, 10 years and they're still young. And you want to find marketing people who still have enthusiasm, who still have spirit, and who are not kind of, just become, corporate types. So really what's more important is not the 10 years. What's more important is their spirit. If they're enthusiastic, they're willing to, pitch in, they're willing to work night and day. When I joined, I took my career from engineering into marketing, sales, and MBA and all that stuff, right? So even though I was a pretty good engineer at IIT, and then I did my master's in electronics at the University of Toronto, etc., and then worked as an engineer, I decided consciously that I'm going to develop business skills. So when I moved to Intel, I did all kinds of product management and marketing jobs for 7 years in order to build up all my skills. So, but when I joined all these startups, I was just like that. I did not need a big office. I was hands-on. I was willing to work, weekends, etc. Even though, I had 2 kids by then. Right? So it's not the age, it's the personality. And you should be looking for co-founders with complementary skills who have the right enthusiasm and personality and love to do this stuff. Yes.
Normally, straight out of college, you wouldn't know or we wouldn't be aware of such people in the industry. How are you scouting for these people?
So it's an excellent question, which is when you don't have a network, how do you find these people, right? So 2 things. One is you'll see that entrepreneurs succeed because they're continuously building their network. And coming from a place like IIT, you have an amazing alumni network. The alumni network that an IITian has is probably as good or even better than the other best alumni network, which is the Harvard alumni network. And these days, because of the alumni network, we've got alumni office here. I mean, you just ask a few questions and automatically, with a few questions, you can easily figure out, okay, these are the 10, 15 potential alumni who have this marketing experience, sales experience, or are in the industry. And the great thing about reaching out to an alumni is that we are always willing to help ideas. Right? I mean, you're just lucky that you're part of this big community that is so helpful of each other. Right? So basically, you have to leverage network. You find that the most important word that will keep on coming in an entrepreneur's life is the word network. You have to be networking, you have to use your network, you've got to access your network, you've got to build your network, you've got to keep feeding your network. So the network is the key. So you use your IT network, you use something called TIE, T-I-E, the Internet Entrepreneur Network, right? So you use all these networks which are already supportive of you. And through them you can pretty much get to any company at any level, and you find right now the great thing is that there are Indians at all the top levels in all the major industries in all the companies in the world, important companies in the world. That's a great thing for all of you guys. I mean, when Alok and I were starting our careers, and things like, Indians were still working their way up. And we had the glass ceilings, or you cannot be a manager or second level manager. You can only be a first level manager. And now, the VPs, the directors, Microsoft CEOs in India, right? Imagine. So it has completely changed, and you guys are incredibly lucky to. But really, you have to use the networks and be creative about it. Good question. Okay, so you've got your co-founding team done, right? All your founders are done. You feel that this is the group of people that are going to make this product and vision come true, and you're going to take over the world. So, but you're going to need a lot of people. And you're going to need damn good people, because it's a competitive world out there. And succeeding in this competitive world is all about having the team that delivers better than anybody else. And to do that, you need what we call in industry A players. People that, perform at the best level under all circumstances. Whatever circumstance you put them in, they'll perform the best, right? So these are the A players, and you want to be in a mode where you actually build a team and hire a team that, or management team that is even smarter than the co-founders. Right? So you have to suddenly realize that success does not mean control of the company. Success means building your business. And in order to build your business, you need people who know how to do it right. And that's your management team. And the whole goal is to keep getting the kind of people who will have the management experiences and the special expertise in each of the functional areas, which will allow you to kind of, have a very high quality company coming together. And to do this, obviously, you're going to have to be humble to realize that, you're hiring somebody who's much smarter than you. You're hiring somebody from IIM who's, worked maybe 5 years at Reliance or TCS or whatever, and you're hiring him to join the company. I don't know which of you students were there in the class we had last year. Last year. Who was in the class? You were there. A few. If you remember, we had this Bhavik Pandya come from GH 24/7, and he has hired at least about 10, 20 IITians and all kinds of people from IIM and everywhere else, and he's just put together a top-notch team, and that's why when the VCs and investors look at his company, they want to jump in, because he's got, that high quality team around him. The key thing that you'll see is that the skills and the personality of the people that you hire is slightly different than what a big organization can kind of looks at. For example, in a startup or an entrepreneurial organization, you're always looking for number one is creativity. Somebody who can create things, who can figure out, how to solve a problem in an out-of-box fashion. Right? You're always looking for that creative angle. You're not looking for somebody who just takes something and just polishes it up and makes it slightly better. Somebody who's good at, being frugal, but yet coming up with a good outcome. Who can make do things, right? How many of you know about the Tinkerer's Lab here? Okay, fantastic. So most people do. So, in Tinkerer's Lab, you can be frugal, but you can make some amazing things. And that's capability and skill that you want in every person that you hire. Because the minute you hire even one person who's lethargic, who's lazy, gives lots of excuses for why something is not done, guess what? The morale comes down. All of a sudden, the energy of the company comes down. So people who don't have this make-do attitude can solve any problem. We don't have to spend a fortune in order to. So I would actually, make my employees realize the importance of getting these personality skills. Where instead of flying to a conference or something, I'll just rent a big van. And 8 of us will pack into that van, and they'll see that the CEO of the company is driving 36 hours in order to go to this conference, etc. Right? So, but it becomes like a party, right? If 8 of you are going together in a van, etc. So in a startup, you want to create this whole mindset of make do. So you achieve the goals, but you kind of achieve it by making do. So even though they are A players, you want them as implementers, hands-on, etc. And so.
I thought at this time it might be worthwhile to give you the alternative that you have in large industry. One of the things that you need to look at when you're looking at new hires, and this is I think common across any industry that you want, is attitude. When we hire people, when I started up this new company on behalf of Tata Power to set up the ultra mega power plant at Mundra, we had nobody on the ground. The company knew that they did not have skill sets, nor did they have the people to set up such a large project. It was a 20,000 crore project. It was a project the size of the turnover of Tata Power at that time. So the risks were very high. The idea, which is very similar to what you would do in a startup, is that you have to build this ship and sail the ship at the same time. That is a crucial part of doing anything new that you want to start. And so we started hiring. I had to start hiring people because I was the only guy in the company. And we hired maybe 500 people over a 2.5-year period. But first of all, what you will hire is your top level team, because that will set the tempo for what's going to happen in the future. And this is common for whether you have a startup or whether you have a large company starting up or a new division or whatever it is. It's always the same. The story is the same. It doesn't change. You've got to get the top level team in place. And how do you get the top level guys to join you if you really don't have a historical reference? Tata Power did not have any reference of doing projects. When the Tata Group was not known for being the benchmark in setting up projects. Alright? So there are a couple of things that you have to do. You have to set up some kind of a what's called a superordinate goal that takes you away from yourself, but you have to make that goal an attractive goal, and that you must make the people want to participate. So it requires some amount of leadership skills. It requires you to be able to communicate your own vision, your ability to attract somebody to that vision. And you don't want anybody who is a pal of yours or a friend of yours or somebody who you have known in the past. What we did, we hired guys from different companies. Our CFO, he came from Siemens, and he was relocating from Germany, from Munich back to India. Our head of construction was a guy from L&T. Our head of engineering was a guy from NTPC, a public sector company. Our head of procurement was a guy from Bechtel. So, and our guy, the chap that we hired for HR, was a person from SREI, Sri, from Calcutta. So people came from different areas, but their main thing was that they wanted to be part of the first ultra mega power plant in the country, and they wanted it to be successful. So the hunger, the desire, is what you have to tap. If you don't get a guy who has the hunger and the desire to be part of your dream, to be part of the company's goal, then whatever you hire under them is going to be as bad as what you hired, if not worse. So all these guys, now I don't know, have you read this book about Lincoln? It's a fabulous book. I forget the name. It's called A Team of Rivals. I would recommend all of you read that book as to how a leader can hire people who are rivals, not only amongst themselves but also with him. And that brings me to the point of what a leadership skill that is required when you are hiring people. That is fearlessness and the ability to not be cowed down by people who are actually smarter than you. It's a very important feature. You must get people. If you get people who are dumber than you, then you're going to get a whole bunch of really dumb guys. And you don't want that. If you wanted to succeed, then that's not the way to go. So my advice to you all would be that you should look for people who are at least as smart as you and who are much better than you in their specific function. You have to get functional excellence. The CFO had to be a guy who could raise $3 billion from the external market. $1.8 billion of that came from ECAs, external commercial agencies like the Exims of South Korea as well as Philippines, the Asian Development Bank as well as the IFC, which is the World Bank. So, these were all people who funded us. And they all gave us the largest funding ever done by IFC for a power plant. It was $450 million. Was for the Mundra project. Now, this all requires people who have an absolute desire to excel. Number two, these are the first hires. After that, always if you think that you're going to need 100 guys, don't hire more than 75. You got to keep people stretched. In India, we have this bad habit of always hiring a little more than we need. And that's a disaster because then people are always around the water cooler just bitching about something or the other. You have to get less people than you actually need. Because you are stressed them and ensure that they have no time whatsoever to crib about the fact that they have to travel 80 kilometers every day up and down from, staying in Gandhinagar, not Gandhinagar, sorry, the other place, Gandhidham in Kutch, and traveling 80 kilometers one way and going back at night 80 kilometers home. They were too damn tired to make any, mess around and make trouble for anybody else. As a result, what tended to happen was you built very strong teams because everybody had to depend on somebody. You have to build interdependence. You have to ensure that people do do not think that they can do everything themselves. It's a very key part of team building. People should not believe that they can do anything by themselves. You have to distribute your work so that people have to work within teams, multiple teams, overlapping teams. They have to work towards achieving the goals that you set for yourself. The other thing that the Ambanis used to do, and this was one message that I have always carried wherever I go, is that a project like a startup has a finite life. From the time that you first start spending money to the time that you start earning money, that cannot be indefinite, it cannot be infinite. You have to crunch that. And crunching that is the key to ensuring that you never ever fail. So that's what we always try to do in all our projects. When we start, we do what's called preparation. This is a word that you must, I think, just imbibe in your head. Preparation. Before you do anything, you must prepare. Preparation, say for example, if you want to set up a plant. Now, for example, we are thinking about in Tata Steel setting up a new plant in Haldia. Now, for that, what you're going to decide is you're not going to do anything. You're not going to go for any approvals. You're not going to say, I'm going to do it in 18 months and then go to 24 months. We are going to prepare ourselves, make a complete assessment of what's needed. You have to have your plans in place. You have to anticipate risk management. Major key factor for all projects. So, when you are hiring people and you are doing all this, you must keep in the back of your mind that these guys are your risk mitigators. They are the guys who are going to ensure that you are not going to get into trouble later because they are going to be handling the risks of their own areas properly. Okay, so the whole business of building the team, the top level team, is actually the difference between failure and success.
Okay, so questions on fire? Yeah.
Let's say there's a CEO, okay, and he finds this one person who's good, like really good, and he kind of has his hands in everything, which is obviously not what he said should be the case. But he has his hands in everything. But if you put him to something specifically, he'll do well in that. But and you also said that the basic objective is to kind of put aside your ego and everything, and kind of ensure that the company goes. Now, if this guy comes and he starts like taking over the post as a CEO and he starts making decisions, what should you do? You like let that happen or?
Well,
like what?
you always have to watch
Like
out.
he's not that much of a team player. Let's say he's not that much.
Yeah, so the important thing to remember is that as co-founders, you guys own the company. You own the company. It doesn't mean that you're going to tell everybody you own the company. But you own the company. You own the equity in the company. Right? So it's your company. So, but just because you're giving the role and responsibility of CEO to somebody, you're not giving up the responsibility, absconding the responsibility of seeing that the company becomes successful. So you have to, as co-founders, always continue to remember that ultimately you're going to be the biggest loser if the company fails. The CEO will find another job. So it's your job to continuously be sure and assess the CEO independent of everybody else as to whether the job is being done right or not for the company. For example, what happened with Opti is that I told you that when we went public,